students to the objective and the purpose of this seminar, and at the same time, speaker, the the guest speaker who is here to share his deliberation. So, students, this is in pursuit of fulfilling our requirement for the Institution Industry Council. We are organizing this particular webinar today, and the discussion of the topic is prototype or process design and development as a prototyping. And the focus of the session will be to have some understanding that how really we can develop a prototype, and what are the steps and what are the things that which we should be always careful while developing our prototype. So this is the objective of the session, and we have among us the speaker for today's program is Mr. Paritosh, and I am Ahmedabad alumnus with LSSBB, PME, and certified wine tester, having 7 plus work experience across sectors like agribusiness, health education, and now discovering the path of entrepreneurship. He is always open for collaboration, work, and testing ideas. We talk about his education. I have already stated that he is I am Ahmedabad alumnus. He has a number of certifications. CSSC Washington DC, from where he has got a certification for Six Sigma Black Belt. MSI USA, wherein he got a certification for Project Management Essentials for Management and Strategy Institute. Then Rioza Wines, wine tester from Rioza Wines. Wharton, Business Analytics Certification. If you talk about his professional affiliations, then he is associated with World Peace Tracks, World Literacy Foundation, White Roots, and Monsanto. If you talk about what at all he is doing these days, that he is co-founder of Vatsalya Wellness and he is executive director of Vatsalya Agri Ventures. Before this, he was state head of Gram Unnati Foundation. Before this, he was manager in user agriculture, and in the beginning, he was associate manager in I9 Farms. He is a very dynamic person, having huge interest in sports, wherein he has won gold medal in cricket competition and of course silver medal in somewhere. And he is involved in various committees like Alumni Association of IM Ahmedabad, then Association of Batch Representative of Alumni Society of Ahmedabad. He's member of Library Committee and Placement Committee of IMPMB. And he talks about entrepreneurship, leadership, agribusiness, Six Sigma, Mahabharat, and Harry Potter. So, students, you can understand that what a dynamic person we have today for the session. And I'm sure that the students are going to learn a lot. Huge welcome, Paritosh. And now I would request you to kindly share your understanding.
Thank you, Dr. Nivedita. Hello, everyone. My name is Paritosh Anand, and as ma'am has already introduced me, so let us move to the session quickly. So I would like to share my screen now, and then we will talk how to proceed from there. So prototype or process design and development, when we talk about this, what we have a fair idea that you have gone through the basics of entrepreneurship, that how it is being done, what are the pros and cons of it, and prototype somewhere comes in the third or fourth stakeholder place in the whole entrepreneurship value chain. So beginning with that, the flow of presentation will be what is prototyping, when it should be done, why it is being done, how it is being done, and we will complete the session with a group activity. So moving further, these are the stages of entrepreneurship: ideation, product definition, prototyping. So prototyping always comes after what you have thought, and now you are going to discover your ideas on the paper or with the real product now. And after that, it comes the validation, testing, and the commercialization of the product. So what is prototyping? The first question comes, it has different meaning for different people. For everyone who is in the ecosystem of the startup or the entrepreneurship things, The founders have a different meaning of it. For customers, it has a different meaning. For investors, they always look for the prototype as, and they are exploring the imagined use cases of that how it will work. For founders, it can be the process of developing the working replica of the product or of their ideas, what they were thinking and how that product is going to be in the real world. For organization, it is a production of intermediary products or processes which will be again tested from the customers. And for customers, like if we talk about the Swiggy or Zomato, when it was in the beta phase, it was released for some customers. So customers were not able to understand the codes behind that. But for customers, any prototype means how it is going to help that customer, what is the design, how it is user friendly, or any FMCG product prototype you can say. And prototype can be on the process delivery or the product delivery, the physical product or not the physical product, even like a website designing or visual merchandising. These things also have the prototype. What is a prototype? Preliminary working version of any product or any idea. It is also the early approximation of the final system. When people are, when the ideas are in the real world with a limited representation of the design that allows user to interact with it and explore and address the suitability of the product according to the need of them. If anywhere you can ask me any question at any point of time. So what are the goals of prototyping? Prototyping, why it is being needed? As a startup guy, I can tell you when Vatsalya Wellness started, we had no idea that how it will be going to be, how the product will be accepted in the market. Then we came up with almost 4 to 5 prototypes, and when we have started doing it, there are very iterations, and after fifth or sixth prototype, now the product is being accepted positively by the user, by the customer, and it has been commercialized already. So the goals of prototyping is the exploring the requirement of the customer, market analysis, participatory design, that how a mobile phone should be, or how the car should be, or how the rocket should be. The alternatives, can we go with this prototype or not? It is actually fulfilling the needs or cater the needs. Are we ready to sharing the ideas with our target users? Are we open for the empirical testing? And the Kaizen, of course, the evolutionary development through the process. One prototype is not the final one. Maybe my sixth prototype is not the final one. It is already in the evolution of getting better always. It is the process of innovation. So these are the basic generic steps of prototypes, and it may vary according to the industry, according to the product. But at some point of time, these all steps are required for even someone for SpaceX who is making rocket and someone who is delivering the food. So you have to outline the requirement, you have to gather the data, you have to analyze it, you have to build the storyboard exactly on paper, that how it will be. You have to design everything on the paper, then you have to build the product and get back again to the storyboard. That is every element of the storyboard, is it there or not? Then you have to go for testing, then you have to develop the product, and this develop the product and testing a storyboard, ये 360 degree पे move करता है. You have to always being around of these four before validating the product always. And when the product is validated, you can deliver it to the customer. That prototype may be accepted, may have the positive attributes to being accepted by the customers. What are the approaches and techniques of prototyping? There are 3 or 4 approaches mostly there are. the throwaway versus evolutionary versus incremental, the horizontal versus vertical, or the low versus high fidelity. Techniques, we have the storyboards, we have the paper prototypes, we have the software prototypes, depends upon again the industries and the product or the processes which we are going to deliver or on which we are working. Throwaway is the early stage prototyping when a startup is being born, or just an idea is in the founder's mind and he want to test that idea that it will work or not. मुझे कोई छोटा सा इंडियन फ़ोन बनाना है और मैं ये सोच रहा हूँ कि ये वर्क करेगा या नहीं करेगा, तो मैं सिंपली एक अर्ली स्टेज प्रोटोटाइप बना करके 100 यूजर्स को 200 यूजर्स को दे करके आई विल गेट टू अंडरस्टैंड कि व्हाट आर देयर फीडबैक्स. Sometimes it is also being done when the prototype will be tested and cannot be retested again. Like SpaceX अगर कोई रॉकेट बना रहा है एज ए प्रोटोटाइप और वो उसको टेस्ट करेगा, तो they will not be able to retest it again. On that point, the prototype will not be retested again and it will be thrown, it will be discarded. It is very expensive sometimes. Whereas the incremental prototype is a whole prototype built in the sample components, like a laptop. Laptops have multiple components inside, and every component has its own market, has its own prototype. So every prototype, every part of the prototype product is built in different silos, and then they may be released separately or they may be integrated and they will create a new product. Or if we see the evolutionary prototypes, these are not discarded. These are eventually becomes the product, and there is a scope of Kaizen in these kind of prototypes. So every prototype will be the successor of the previous one. Every new prototype will have a new innovation or new thing in comparison to the previous one. For organization, oh, that is the wrong slide. The techniques of prototyping. So we have full prototype, we have horizontal prototype, and we have the vertical prototype. Basically, full prototype have the full functionality like Excel. If Excel 2022 is coming or 23 is coming and they are launching it in the beta version, they are actually want to you to taste it, because that's the prototype only. So it has the full functionality but lower in performance. They might not perform that well. You have purchased a Microsoft Office suite. Mostly these are the software prototypes. The simulation of entire interface will be there, but you may not use every kind of command of that. We have the horizontal prototype, in-depth functionality, test the part of the system, but there will be again the reduction in the number of features. While the vertical prototype will have the full functionality again, but it will be sliced up on the level of the performance. So these are some techniques of prototyping. We have seen the process of a prototype, that how prototype are being built. And next comes the fidelity and its spectrum. Fidelity is here considered as the accuracy of the prototype, that if I have built a prototype, then how much accurate it is to the real product, the degree of similarity of the actual product or the processes. It is not the degree of the attributes which are invisible to the users, but it will have the degree of similarity which the real product will have. If there is a high fidelity product, it will be very close to the final product. It will display the breadth of the functionality. Every function of the real product will have in the high fidelity prototype. But when we talk about the vertical prototype, it will have full functionality, but again, not the it will be discarded again. It may not be used. These are some storyboards of how prototype is being done. Like if we need to talk on any kind of software development, so how the phone will be look like, how the app will be look like, how the music system will play. If you see this pic, you can understand how the voice background, everything, Facebook, Twitter, email, how it will be shared if anything is in the on the screen. So these are the prototypes which have been made on the paper first, then it has been integrated on the system or through softwares, and then it got to the real world for the customers to use. This is the prototype of a platform like Make My Trip. So this is how it works, and these are the prototypes made on the paper screen boards. This is the prototype of paper prototype, what we talked about, the storyboard, how the product will look like, what will be the feature. If you go to the any mobile shop, they have a dummy piece, they have a dummy phone, they show it to you. That's only the prototype of that how it will be look in your hand, how it feels, what the weight of the product. But it again not have the functionality because there is no software installed in that phone. It only shows how the product looks like. So these are the these are the some prototypes which can be considered as any question in prototyping.